he's starting with, say, E1 and E2 as endowments. Okay, this is his endowment, and the prices which he is facing is P1 and P2. These are the prices of the goods. So, and remember that there is no other income source in this model. Okay, so what is an income? Income is basically value of endowment, which is nothing but P1 into E1 into E2. This is the value of endowment. Okay, and this is his income. Now, what is he consuming? His consumption is basically two goods, X1 and X2. Okay, so what is his expenditure? Is basically value of consumption, which is P1x1 plus P2x2. Clear? Now what do you have to write? Basically, you can write the budget constraint as budget constraint is basically expenditure should be less than equal to income. Okay, so that would mean P1x1 plus P2x2 is less than equal to this income, which is P1E1 plus P2E2. Okay, or if you want to write this in terms of net demands, you can write it like this. Or if you want to write just an equation, budget equation would be okay. So now the point is that what is the slope of the budget line? Okay, the question is that what is the slope of the budget line? That is minus the coefficient of x upon coefficient of y, which is minus P1 by P2. Okay, so now what you have to do is basically that you will have to understand one thing, that is this budget line will definitely pass through E1 and E2. Why? Okay, that is it will pass through E1, E2. Okay, now reason is that if you put x1 equals to E1 and you put x2 equals to E2, this equation is satisfied, which is P1 into x1 minus E1 plus P2 into x2 minus E2. This equation is satisfied. Okay, now the other point which you have to understand is basically is let me give you one example. Okay, whatever we have said, let me just put in terms of an example. Okay, so say E1 and E2 is basically 5, 2. That is your endowment, and your price levels are 2, 2. So what is the value of endowment? Value of endowment in this case would be 2 into 5 plus 2 into 2, which would be equal to 14. Fine. So this is the value of endowment. This is basically your income. Clear? You're consuming x1 and x2, and what is the expenditure? That is a value of consumption is basically given by this equation, which is 2x1 plus 2x2. Fine. But what you want is that expenditure should be less than equal to income. So 2x1 plus 2x2 should be less than equal to income. If you want to write this in terms of net demands, you can write this as 2 into x1 minus 5 plus 2 into x2 minus 2. Okay, should be less than equal to 0. Clear? In case of budget equation, you can write this as 2x1 minus 5 plus 2 x2 minus 2 should be equal to 0. Clear? Now what is the slope of this budget constraint? Minus the coefficient of x1 upon coefficient of x2, which is minus 2 upon 2, which is equal to minus 1. Now you guys could see this, that this equation would be satisfied in case if x1 is equal to 5 and x2 is equal to 2. This equation would be satisfied in case if x1 is equal to 5 and x2 is equal to 2. Fine, you can just substitute it back here and you will get an expression which will be equal to 0. So you will say this, that the budget line, this budget line will always pass through the endowment. The reason is that endowments are always just affordable. Endowments are always just affordable. Clear? Let me just put it for you guys in terms of the graph. Okay, so in terms of graph, how it will look like? It will look like this. Okay, it will look like this, which is your x1, this is your x2. Your equation is basically 2x1 plus x2 equals to 14 is your equation, or you can write this as x1 plus x2 equals to 7. So in case if x1 is 0, x2 is 7. When x2 is 0, x1 is 7. So this is 7, 7. Clear? And let me just join them. So this is your budget line. Okay, and remember this, that this point basically this point, your x1 is equal to 5 and x2 is equal to 2. Somewhat here, this is 5 and this is 2. Okay, now this point is affordable point. This point will lie on the budget line because endowments, they're always just affordable. Okay, they are affordable. Now the point is that supposedly if the consumption lies here, if your indifference curve is somewhat like this, okay, then in that case you are, as you guys could see, you are let me have this line. So as you guys could see, you are consuming less of x1, okay, say whatever it is, say it is x1 and this is x2, okay, say your consumption is lying here. So what you are trying to say, that you are consuming less of x1 than your endowment. So in this case your x1 minus e1 is less than 0, and you're consuming x2 which is more than your endowment of x2, which is x2 minus e2 is greater than 0. Okay, so you're consuming less of x1 as compared to your endowment of x1. So it means that you are a supplier of x1, and in case if your x2 minus c2, in this case it is greater than 0, so you will say that you demand x2. Okay, your say your consumption is lying here. In case if your consumption would have lied here, okay, to the right of this endowment point, you would have been demanding x1 and supplying x2. Okay, so this is what I want to tell you in case of budget constraint in this kind of a model. Okay, thanks.